This financial education content is brought to you by Seventh Key Financial.
Tony, with all that being said, I think I need to let you cook, because I know that one of the patterns that you're going to discuss is a very complicated one, especially for new members or anybody that's new to technical analysis with the WXY Double Zigzag. That is a mouthful in its own right, but to express that in a chart and explaining it, there's only one that I trust, and that's Tony Severino. So you want to share a few things and cook in the kitchen, and I'll bring dessert after you're done with the main entree?
That sounds fantastic, my friend. I'll jump right in. All right, so this is the chart that we are referring to. I've been using this cyclical short-term Bitcoin chart pretty much since, realistically, like in this area. I used it a little bit over here to kind of find this and was prepared for this sort of large rally against the ETF news. And then just because it worked so well, I continued to follow it. Per normal cycle theory, you have your cycle amplitude, which is the middle point of these semicircles. This is the strongest, has the most momentum behind it point of the entire cycle. And you can see, because the momentum is so strong here, it can sometimes remain, momentum persists. So you can see it will continue to hang before it tops out, and you roll over slight right translation of the cycle amplitude. When I took all of this and averaged it out, I got an average of 7.4 bars. And just throwing that on here, it kind of helps give us a little bit of an idea of when this X wave may top. Now, I've kind of gone over some of this before in the past, but I didn't quite have the accuracy down that I wanted. I didn't quite have the counts and things like that. And I feel like I do now, and I'm able to explain why I think that this pattern may be coming. And just like anything, especially for Elliott Wave, you do want to have your primary counts and a couple alternate counts, potentially a bearish count. And in this case, has become my primary, but was more of an alternate previously. So I still got the ABC down. Ultimately, it's going to be a WXY double zigzag. But the X wave I have labeled here as an expanding triangle. And I'm thinking that we potentially get that because we're going to be seeing expanding volatility based on the monthly time frame. So this is our monthly Bollinger Bands. And even though I have the weekly candles on here, the monthly Bollinger Bands have started to expand. So if we're getting expanding volatility on a higher time frame, it doesn't matter quite as much what's going on the lower time frames. We're going to see volatility. So if we're getting expanding volatility, perhaps that we are going to see an expansive move here. And again, we keep kind of hitting this 60K area. Sentiment gets so extremely bearish, just like 6K back in 2018, that we just can't go any lower. We're just not getting there. It's too negative at that point. So how do you really shake up the market? What's max pain scenario? And that is a really strong, sharp, as they say in crypto, God candle type move. Make it look like the bottom is in. Really get people to chase, get people confused, but it's just not the top. We reject somewhere around here, Bollinger Band basis. I also have our 50-week moving averages in the same vicinity. We just reclaimed the 200-week. Theoretically, we could make this run up to this level. And again, what would ultimately happen is we would then start to roll down, complete another smaller ABC zigzag type sharp move, and end. I actually have this out a little bit further. I'm starting to think that people are starting to expect a bottom a little bit earlier, slightly ahead of the October scheduled bottom for the longer term cycles. And I'm starting to sense that maybe it goes a little bit longer. And again, it matches up really well with my shorter term cycles. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking in terms of like short-term movements. Now, I did mention we had a lot of high time frame closes on Bitcoin. And well, we didn't get a high time frame close on this yearly chart. What else is going on the other charts that I'm going to start showing you could hint at how this sort of thing completes. So this is our yearly chart that shows the entire Bitcoin trend. I'm showing that the white candlesticks are kind of running out of steam over time, shows momentum, bullish momentum is weakening, returns are diminishing. Our black candlesticks are increasingly engulfing more of the white candlestick before. This was a tiny bit. This was a decent amount. This was the whole thing. And then in this time, we had 3 up candlesticks, but we didn't this time. So that pattern's interrupted with the doji, which is a pause for indecision. And if we get below a close below, say, 62,000 at the end of 2026, this completes this evening star pattern and puts up to 3 to 7 years of a downtrend into play. I found an example. This is actually Bitcoin. It's just on a lower time frame. And you can see that the downtrends can get pretty aggressive too. So if we kind of just even were to compare and this came down, it sure looks like we're going to take out this area potentially too. And not to say that these support levels match one-to-one with these either, but just to give you some sort of visual projection of where things may go. So I'm going to walk down the time frames a little bit. We did get a 6-month close, which I know a lot of people don't really look at. This 4 candlestick pattern here is very bearish. This candle has now fully engulfed through the bottom of this one. We are coming up and retesting the underside of this guy as support turned resistance. This is very shaved at the bottom. It's probably the smallest lower wick that I've seen you can see at all ever on the history of the chart. I think that's notable. It means really there wasn't any buying. Buyers didn't step in to leave a wick behind. You can see buyers stepped in real hard here, not so much here. Sellers stepped in here, right? You can see those things in the wicks. It doesn't tell me buyers stepped in here. And then based on the momentum alone, it sure looks like it's got a lot more even to potentially come down. Again, 6-month time frame. These things take longer. We got a whole 5 months and 24 days to see what happens next. Moving down a little bit more. This is our quarterly time frame. Same sort of thing with our stochastic momentum index. I see a lot more downside ahead. Now I threw this guy here, right here, this dashed line on the underside of this. This is our completed evening star pattern on the quarterly. So the underside of this black candlestick to me is notable. Now, when I start to look at additional charts and things like that, again, it does match up confluence-wise with these guys too. 88 on this one. This was 80. This one is actually still coming down a little bit, so I anticipate that getting a little bit lower. And then it's literally right. I didn't move it at all. Lined up right here with the Tenkan-sen. Now we have Bitcoin has finally closed a quarterly candlestick below the Kijun-sen, which is our conversion line, and the other one is our what's the other one? No, baseline and conversion line. So yeah, this is the baseline. I apologize. Kijun-sen is the baseline. Tenkan-sen is the conversion line. Basically, shorter term trend, longer term trend. But you can see when we got the close under the Kijun-sen, man, does this thing typically come down before we actually hit a bottom. And we barely started this. It's hard to say that we're really anywhere close to a bottom when it looks like we have so much more to fall. Now, I did notice this, that we did land on support here on the quarterly Bollinger Band basis. This is notable because this was the bottom here. But what's significant on this chart to me actually isn't any of this. It's this. It's this guy. This is the lower Bollinger Band finally coming up, showing that volatility is dwindling on the highest of time frames. And when the bottom is falling out, it means volatility is expanding and you're getting a trending move. This is suggesting that this move is over. So that's just something, to keep in mind. There's a lot of signals that are telling me Bitcoin's secular trend potentially has ended. Going a little bit further, my more quarterly charts, I just wanted to kind of show off this Fisher transform. Clearly has a lot more down to get to here, where the extremes at bottoms are. Perhaps it does end up finding some support in this area, but even if it did, I would imagine it's going to still do something like this, where we get a lot of activity in between. Looking at momentum now, it's hard to say that we're starting to turn around, because you typically start to see these pink ticks on the histogram versus the darker color, which is showing strengthening bearish momentum. So if our bearish momentum is strengthening, we still have all this more to go. It doesn't look like a bottom is in. Now, I wanted to show again, Bollinger Bands are starting to expand after the tightest point in Bitcoin's monthly Bollinger Band history. Bollinger Bands are one of those tools you can set the time frame on the tool itself to a different time frame from the candles. I have the 3-day chart with the monthly Bollinger Band and the weekly Bollinger Band. So here's our monthly Bollinger Band basis starting to turn down, and then we have expansion on the weekly, which is drawn in here, the really choppy looking one. So weekly tightened and is now expanding. We didn't get any real strong price action close below either of these guys. So that tells me we're probably going to make a trip back up to the upper Bollinger Band on the weekly, which is 82. And the Bollinger Band basis will continue to come down a little bit. Kind of really fits in this whole little area here where this whole 87K confluence is. And just to note, it would not make a higher high above this. So it's still within plenty of the rules per Elliott Wave. Doesn't change market structure very much overall. So I think this is something that could really shake the market up. Imagine things are back at 87, almost 90K, maybe even a get pokes above 90K. I do really think that's going to trick a lot of people into thinking, hey, that bottom's really in. It could be a hugely brutal psychological move if that bottom actually isn't in. Moving a little bit more forward, this is a chart that I shared a few weeks ago here, and it is essentially it's Bitcoin dominance, and I noticed that all altcoin seasons happened from this level. We had a breakdown of this trend line, and I noticed I had a similar trend line here, so it's something I wanted to watch, and we did. We closed below it. This is a 3 inside out candlestick. I might have to double check that. 3 inside down, I want to say, actually, that's what it is. And it's a bearish reversal candlestick, and it happened and closed below this rising uptrend line at this key level. So what happens after this could be an interesting thing. Now, I'm not certainly comfortable enough saying that an altcoin season is going to happen. Certainly not. I don't really see much room for all that much upside overall, but maybe Bitcoin does do that sort of 87K, 90K move, and altcoins do overperform in such an environment. Maybe that adds to the psychology that the bottom is in. So I think in crypto, we're going to actually potentially see something pretty confusing. Overall, though, I still think the crypto's done for a bit. This is a long-term trend line. We close below, retesting it now. Even if we make a really strong run retest-wise to really kind of get up here, I just don't see a recovery. I don't see it holding this. We're talking altcoins here too. This excludes Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stable coins. So Bitcoin's the big market driver, where the money's at. Stable coins are digital dollars. Ethereum's still kind of got some value overall. But the rest of the altcoin market, really, what does it do for the most part? What does anything do? It doesn't really drive revenue. So I do tend to think that there isn't much reason for this to then blast off and take off. So that's that. For Ethereum, this is our monthly. We're starting to retest the underside of this candlestick. If we can't reclaim, this is bad, and we're going to continue down further. Clearly, we have a little bit more to go cyclically and based on the price action extremes. Over here, we have the LMACD, the signal lines themselves making lower lows. Bearish momentum is strengthening. The histogram itself is making a lower low. Nasty. Looks really nasty for Ethereum. The fractal itself is actually based off this guy over here, and we really did kind of make that run and keep going. This is our monthly chart on oil, and we had this is what was an attempt at an evening star, and it came real close to getting it. So the 50% mark is our sell trigger on this candle, on an evening star. It didn't get it. Now, just because we didn't get it doesn't mean we still don't get some bearish price action. So we got this nasty candle here, and it wiped out the rest of this big white candle. But because we didn't really get a full bearish reversal kind of validation and it didn't meet the sell trigger, this could be it. That could have been it for the bearish candles. We've retested the resistance, potentially turned support. And man, if this was it, this is it. Technically, this was a very clean breakout retest of a pattern and could give a lot of confidence into a upward trending move that lasts for a while. So again, fits the TA, fits sort of the things that I've been thinking. I know a lot of people are very against this move that I'm talking about in oil. I get a lot of flack for it. And hey, maybe I'm wildly off. Maybe I haven't seen enough major macro turmoil and wars and things in the Middle East to truly understand how this goes. I'm more looking at it just from the technical lens and predicting what outcomes may come based on how I understand these behaviors to then develop in the future based on these technicals. I don't want to make any bold claims. I do want to call attention to an area where I may have a shortcoming, and that's one of them. So keep that ones with a grain of salt. I did want to look at the SPX. So when I draw my trend channels per Elliott Wave, I allow an overthrow on wave 3. It's the strongest point of our overall momentum. It comes up out of the channel. Sometimes you get a little bit of stab below on wave 4s, sub-wave 4s. And I think that is potentially what we saw here. We rode and climbed with an overthrow on our wave 3, stabbed down with our wave 4, and I think we're finishing things out. Our momentum, stochastic momentum, is we got a bearish divergence here, and it's looking pretty close to rolling. Now, it can do this sort of stuff for quite a while, so maybe it's not rolling. Like I said earlier, stock market just kind of keeps on cooking, but it's looks heavier by the day. And this hanging man here, this candle comes down, that's an evening star pattern. And While candlestick patterns haven't been super effective on the SPY, this is a bearish engulfing here, and it literally did nothing. And this was all pretty nasty, it did nothing. So who knows? Maybe we crash and it just keeps cruising. So there's a lot of things that could happen, but at the very least, it is the start of what could be a bearish reversal candle, and same thing on the NDX. And then my last chart, I wanted to just call attention on the DXY. This is really what I think is in control of the market right now. Almost nothing else matters to me technically until I see what happens here, how this resolves. And there's my monthly Bollinger Bands on the DXY. We get above the basis, very common to retest it, make sure it holds. If it holds, it's going to make a run for that upper Bollinger Band. Things are squeezing down over here, just like they did over here. And if we get above that upper Bollinger Band, this turns into a long-term trending move. Now, the Stochastic Momentum Index is just poking above right at the same time as this. Same behavior literally right here. So if we start to see this guy up here, a very strong chance that we're going to make a run for 107, 108 on the DXY. And there'll be a downtrend resistance line that will kind of line up perfectly with that right over here. If you look where I just drew that out as an example, makes sense. Does it break out? I don't know. Does it reject? I don't know. But at the very least, from here to here, should do some decent damage to Bitcoin, metals, possibly stocks, risk assets in general. And then we'll have to see how things go from here. But again, this month, super critical. I want to understand if this is going to hold. Typically, if a market is more on the bearish side, even if it does get above the basis, it don't hold it. We just saw that with Bitcoin. That was one of the reasons why I shorted. It's one of the reasons why I shorted right over here, was just that we basically were running out of steam in the same way. But that is it. That is my run, my charts for today, Josh. Very much looking forward to seeing what you got for us as well.
Man, that last chart was worth it, man. I appreciate that. As someone that is trying to get more skilled at my craft, I love the confluence of the oscillator below, at the basis line, the midline, almost like the chef's kiss, right? Because here you are cooking in the kitchen